The faint clatter of silverware against porcelain came to an abrupt stop, not because dinner had ended, but because he had arrived, her so-called best friend, the one she had always sworn was like a brother. He strolled into the pre-wedding dinner uninvited, moving without hesitation, like he belonged there. His grin went straight to her, not me, and she lit up the moment she saw him, as if she'd been waiting for him all night. I watched his hand settle casually on her shoulder, as though it had every right to rest there. I watched her lean closer, her voice dropping into a whisper I was never meant to hear. Then her eyes shifted to me, cold, sharp. "You're going to apologize to him," she ordered, her tone cutting like a blade. "Whether you like it or not. That isn't up for debate. Get up and do it." I stayed seated, staring, waiting to see if she would flinch. She didn't. So I stood, across the room, my chest hollow, my thoughts stripped bare. And then I drove my fist straight into his jaw. Gasps rippled around the table. Chairs scraped back. He staggered, clutching his face. "Oh, my mistake," I said flatly. That was supposed to be a hug. Turning to her, I added, "Sorry, but the wedding is off." Then I walked away. That wasn't the first time I'd caught them. 3 months earlier, I had found his hoodie tossed carelessly in her car. She laughed it off. "You're imagining things. You're paranoid." 2 weeks later, she left her phone on the counter while showering. A preview flashed across the screen. Can't stop thinking about last night. It was from him. I didn't need to unlock it. I just stared at those words until they burned themselves into my mind. When she came out, I acted normal, kissed her forehead, asked about dinner, let her believe I trusted her. She kept insisting he was harmless, just a friend. She even bragged that he'd be sitting front row at our wedding. I tried convincing myself maybe I was being controlling. Maybe real love meant trust. But trusting her felt like slipping my head into a vice and handing her the handle. So I started small, checking her location history, noticing how girls' night ended 40 minutes away from the place she swore she'd been, watching their body language in public, the tilt of her knee angled toward him, the way his gaze lingered on her laughter like it was his private show. I stayed quiet, observed, collected. Late night co-worker calls, messages deleted in clusters, not one by one. The night she came home smelling faintly of his cologne, I said nothing, just sat at the table, watching her eat. But I kept records. Screenshots saved to a hidden folder. Bank statements showing 2 separate dinner charges within the same night. Each piece was a thread, and I let them gather until I had a noose. Then came Thursday. A friend in IT owed me a favor. I handed him her backup files. He handed me the raw transcripts. Every text, every emoji, every "I miss you," every plan they'd made for her after the wedding. They spoke about me like I was an obstacle, something to get past, a problem to be managed. I printed the ugliest ones. No notes, no highlights, just plain ink and paper. That night, I slid the stack across the counter. She picked it up, scanned the first page. Her face drained. "Where did you—" I didn't answer. Didn't need to. She kept flipping, breath quickening, panic setting in. I just watched. The more she read, the quieter I became. That pre-wedding dinner? That was my stage. I knew he would show up. I had made sure of it. An anonymous text from her phone. Urgent, impossible to ignore. I wanted an audience. I wanted her cornered. When she demanded I apologize, she thought she was still in control. She didn't realize she'd already lost. My punch wasn't about hurting him. It was punctuation. A final mark at the end of a sentence months in the making. When I told her the wedding was canceled, my voice stayed calm, almost flat. No anger, no explanation. Because explanations give people something to push back against. Silence leaves them alone with their guilt. I went home that night and changed the locks. She called 12 times. Left 3 voicemails, one furious, one begging, one shattered. I ignored them all. I sat in the dark living room, listening to the clock tick, each sound sharp, almost new, as if I'd been living underwater until now. There was no grief, no heartbreak, just emptiness. Her wedding dress still hung in the bedroom. I didn't touch it. Didn't need to. I had already walked away from the version of myself who might have forgiven her. When the sun came up, I brewed coffee, glanced at the locked door, and smiled.